From today, we are going to start our next topic, that is limitations of planning. In our last video, we have discussed about the importance of planning. But besides this, planning has some limitations also. Okay. So starting with the first point of limitation. Yes. Our first limitation is planning leads to rigidity. As here it is written, in an organization, a well-defined plan is drawn up with specific goals to be achieved within a specific time, but managers may not be in a position to change it. It means, students, as we know that planning is always done on the basis of some assumptions and predictions about the future. Okay. Before making plans and while making plans, manager makes some assumptions regarding future, that what can be, what is going to happen in future. But it might be there is a situation, if that particular situation or circumstances that a manager have assumed, if these circumstances does not hold true in future, so in that case it becomes very difficult for the manager to change the plans that he have already framed. Okay, so what does the rigidity means? It means inability to make changes. Rigidity refers to inability to make the changes. So here it is written, as the business environment is dynamic, managers need to be given some flexibility to cope up with the changed circumstances. It means the plan should be made very flexible, that if there is any situation and the circumstances that you have assumed while making the plans, that circumstances, that situation does not hold true in the future, it must be possible to make the changes as per the situation. But if your plans are not flexible, so it creates very difficulty to change, to make any changes in your plans. So in this way, planning leads to rigidity, and this rigidity creates many difficulties for the manager if the circumstances have been changed in the future. Okay, so it means once plans are made to decide the future courses of action, the manager may not be in a position to change them if the plans are not flexible. So in this way, planning leads to rigidity. It means it cannot be changed very much frequently if the circumstances that you have assumed does not hold true in the changing environment. Okay. Now, the second limitation of planning is planning may not work in dynamic environment. What does the dynamic environment refers to? It refers to the changeable environment, as we have discussed that the environment in which the organization is existing, it's dynamic. It used to change very frequently. So planning is based on anticipation of future happenings, and since future is uncertain and dynamic, so the organization needs to adapt itself to changes. It means if the changes, there might be any changes in the environment, for example social change, in the change of taste and preferences of the customers, in the government policies, in the competitors policy, there might be any change in the environment in which we are existing. So if the changes are very much frequent, if there is so many changes, very frequent changes in the environment, so it might be possible that your planning will not get success. Is it clear to you? Because planning is always made on the assumptions, and the assumptions that you have made is based on some predictions regarding the future. So if that future conditions, if the environment in which you are existing, you are going to sell your product or you are going to launch your product, if that environment is so much changeable, the changes are very much frequent, so in that case planning will not work. So students, please don't be confused within the first and the second point. The first point says that it becomes very difficult to make any changes because of the rigidity. Okay, because plans, if the plans are made very much rigid, fixed plans are made, so it creates very much difficulty for the manager if there is any circumstances which is not same as your circumstances that you have assumed. But second point suggests that the plans which are made by the manager will not hold true, will not get success in the environment if the changes are very much frequent in the environment in which you are existing. Planning will work only when the circumstances that you have assumed are same as in the future. But if the changes are there, many taste and policies and government rules and regulations are changeable very much frequently. In that condition, planning will not get success. Planning may not work in dynamic environment. For example, I have taken an example of demonetization. It means, for example, to increase the sale of a product, the manager has decided, the owners of the company have decided that we will give the discount to the customers who will make cash payments immediately at the time of purchase. Those who will purchase on credit or will make the payment through check, they will not get the discounts as announced by the company. It means the discounts will be given to only those customers who will make the cash payment immediately. And then company is a manufacturing company who sell their products to different wholesalers. Okay, so they have made this policy for making the cash discounts. Why they have made this policy? They have assured, they have assumed that might be it will help us in increasing the sale of our product. Okay, so on the same day or after few days, they have noticed that government has discussed, that government has announced regarding the policy of demonetization, in which 500 and 1000 notes has been banned from the market. So in this period between the policy announcement and between the demonetization announcement, you have made a sales of 10 lakh rupees, in which customers have made you the payment in 500 and 1000 notes. So in that case, your planning is failed. Now your planning will not work because the 500 and 1000 notes is of no use, and people will not also make the payments in cash because they know that the other notes are very much valuable. They prefer to make payments only through checks. So it means it is a type of change in the environment. It is not very much frequent, but in the field in which you are existing, your product field, the changes are very much frequent. In that case, planning may not work because of dynamic environment. Okay. Now, the third limitation of planning is planning reduces creativity. How? Top management does planning and middle management does implementation of plan, but they are not allowed to deviate from plan, and thus creativity of these managers get reduced. What does it mean? That as we have discussed in first chapter, that there are 3 levels of management: top, middle and lower. Okay, so if any policy or any rules always are framed by the top level management, what does the middle and lower level managers do? They only have the authority to implement these plans in the organization. They don't have authority to make any plans and policies. These are only made by the top level management. Middle and lower level management other managers have to implement the plan only. So when the managers are not given authority to give their suggestions, to give their ideas, the top managers do not consult with them while making plans and policies. In that case, managers also stop giving their suggestions and ideas to their owner or to their top level manager, because they know that if we also give the suggestions and ideas, it will not be considered by our manager. Okay, so in that case, the planners will not consult. If the planners didn't consult with the other managers while making plans and policies, the other lower level managers or the other departmental managers stops giving their suggestions and ideas to the top level manager, because they know that their suggestions are not being welcomed by the top level manager. What is the result of this? This will create the thinking power and the creativity of the person. They will become the blind followers. They will become the blind followers like this. It means the red person is the manager, and all the managers, all the other level managers will follow them blindly. What the manager is doing, other managers will also perform only that thing. Okay, that plan only. If any new suggestion or idea is coming in their mind, they are not given authority to discuss their suggestions and ideas with the managers, which will result in reducing creativity. Okay, what is the thing that promotes creativity? When the plans are being framed by the managers with consulting with the employees and other managers, So every person will try to think something new, okay, and it helps in increasing their creativity. But in those organizations where the plans are framed only by the top level managers without consulting with their employees and other departmental managers, in this type of organizations, the creativity of the persons gets reduced because they stop thinking and giving suggestions and new ideas. Even they are having some new creative idea in their mind, even then they will not discuss with their manager because they know that he will not consider our suggestion. They become the blind followers of the plan. Whatever the manager will ask to do, they will do the same, whether it is right or wrong. Is it clear? Now, the fourth limitation is planning involves huge cost. It means planning is a very costly process. How? Huge costs are involved in the formulation of the plan. Detailed plans require scientific calculations to ascertain the data. Sometimes cost incurred on planning does not justify the benefits derived. You have to understand why planning is a costly process, because plans are not made overnight. They require very much, as we have discussed in the features of planning, that planning is a mental exercise. It requires very much intelligent people. It is a very intellectual activity. It requires a person, it requires a planner and manager, those who have very high thinking power. Okay, so for this, the companies have to appoint some experts, and as you can see in this picture, that the minded peoples are required to make better plans, and these minded peoples are the experts of their particular field. If they are experts, they are specialized, they charge very high salary from the company and from the organization, which will result in a very costly process. It means the experts hired by the company charges very much salary for their planning work, which will result in increasing the cost for the company. Besides this, for making plans, very much data, some data is to be collected. For example, they can organize some surveys, some observations, some interviews, and many much more thing is required to make plans. Okay, plans are not made overnight on the basis of one thinking or on with the help of one people. It is required to make plan. We have to discuss, we have to make some data collection, we have to collect very much data. Okay, we have to hire some people, and all this process involves some cost. That's why planning is known as a costly process. But if sometimes this line, if sometimes the planning does cost incurred, sometimes the cost incurred on planning does not justify the benefits derived. It means the cost that you have incurred on making your plans, if the benefits that you are going to achieve from that you are going to derive from that plan is less than the cost that you have incurred, it means there is no use of making plans. For example, you have made a plan to organize an webinar, okay, or a seminar in your company, which will help you in advertising your product to different peoples. In that seminar, you have you have spent 1 lakh rupees. In you have thought that if I will spend 1 lakh rupees, many people will attend that seminar. My product will get advertised to all that people. Maybe the increase of the sale of my product will get increased, and I will get the sale of more than 1 lakh with the help of such seminar. But if the seminar was held and 1 lakh rupees has been spent on the seminar, but it does not give you any benefit, the sale of your product doesn't increase in future, it means in that case planning is not successful. Okay, so the cost that you are incurring spending on the planning must give the benefits more than that cost. Okay, maybe it is clear to you. Because of main two reasons, planning is a costly process. First is it requires some minded peoples and expert peoples, and if the company is hiring the expert people, they will charge more salary as they are the specialists of their particular field, which will add to the cost of the organization. Other reason of costly processes, planning involves some data collection, and data collection is done by the peoples on the basis of some surveys, observation, interviews, and it also involves some cost. Okay. Now, next is planning is a time consuming process. It means planning is not only a costly, even it is a time consuming process also, because planning is not done overnight. As I have told you, planning requires some group discussions. It means all the managers, if the company is so much large, and many CEOs and CFOs and BDO, many people are there on the top level management who are involved in making such plans. So in that case, they have to discuss with each other for making plans, and making plans requires having group discussion will take some time. Okay. And I have told you in the features of planning, that planning is done when many alternatives are available in front of you, and you have to select the best alternative from those alternatives. Okay. So selecting the best one among all the alternatives present in front of you also takes time. Then about the alternatives, you have to discuss with all the managers of the top level management, so it will also take time. So in this way, we say that planning is a time consuming process. It cannot be made overnight. If you want to make the plans overnight, it is not possible. Okay. You have to make assumptions, you have to make group decisions with the employees and the worker and the superiors of the top level management. You have to forecast the future, and this will involve time. Many aspects need to be considered while formulating a plan. It is a very time consuming process. Okay. If you want to increase for example, if you want to increase the sale of your product, okay, so it doesn't mean that overnight you are able to increase the sale of your product. You have to think that what are my competitors' price of the product, what are their strategies, what are the discounts being offered by the competitors, what are the other brands. Many things are to be discussed with the other managers, and it will take time. That's why planning is a time consuming process. Now, sixth limitation of planning is planning does not guarantee success. It means the success of an enterprise is possible only when plans are properly drawn and implemented. Managers tend to apply the previously tried and tested plans, but are plans successful before? May not be successful for all situations. What does this mean, students? That if one plan was successful in the past situation, it doesn't mean that the same plan will also get success in future. Okay. It means if the plan successful before, may not be successful in all situations. Some managers try to adopt hit and trial method and a rule of thumb. Okay. They thought that I have made the plans, I have followed this plan in my last organization, in my last condition, so I will follow the same plan in my future conditions also. But no, planning is always done on the basis of assumptions and predictions about the future. Okay. And future is uncertain, nobody can predict the future accurately. Okay. So it might be possible that it does not guarantee success. If you have drawn the plan, if the success of an enterprise is possible only when plans are properly drawn and implemented. You have drawn a plan very much successfully, and you have implemented that plan in the same way as you have planned, and the circumstances are also same that you have predicted. If these conditions hold true, only then your plan will get success. Is it clear? If a plan has worked successfully in past, it doesn't mean that it will hold true in all the situations. Students, please tell me why planning does not guarantee success.
Ma'am, because the same plan cannot be used for the future situations. That's why it does not guarantee success. And if the conditions and the environment is not same as planned, the plan will not work.
Very good. It's a right answer. If the plans that you have, the situations that you have predicted does not hold true, it means it will not get success, and the plans which I have worked in past, it is not a solution for a future course of action. You have to understand that plans only provide you a basis. It does not provide you the solutions of the future. It does not provide you the accuracy of the plans, that yes, with this plan you will definitely get success. Okay, plannings only provide you the base. Now, after completing the limitations of, now we will discuss the next topic, that is planning process. Okay, the planning process starts with the first point, that is setting up of objectives. It means setting up of objective before making plans. Okay, in planning function, manager starts with setting up of objective. It means that because of all the plans, all the policies, all the procedures are framed, planning is why we are doing planning. We are making plans just to achieve the objective, just to achieve the goals of the organization. So it means planning, before making planning, before starting the planning process, the objectives needs to be set out, that for which, for what work we are going to make the plan. So set objectives for the entire organization and each department, units and employees. State the objectives. After setting up of objective, that what we are going to do, as I have told you, that planning helps in bridging the gap between the present, where you are standing today, and the future, where you want to be. Okay, this gap is filled by doing planning. So where you are standing today, you have to make the objective, that where you want to go in future. For example, the manager of the company wants to increase his sale from 5 crores to 10 crores. So at present he is on 5 crore, the sale is 5 crore, but he wants to increase his sale to 10 crores. So the difference, the gap of 5 crores is to be filled by the organization. It is the objective of the company. So before making planning cannot be done without the objective. Before that, we have to set up our objectives. Okay, we have to fill, the manager will think that we have to fill the difference of 5 crore rupees. On the basis of that objective, we will start doing planning. Is it clear to you? After setting objectives, let us see that state the objectives of the organization very clearly and determine how all departments would contribute towards overall objective. It means merely setting up of objective is not necessary, it's not sufficient. You have to clearly communicate that objective to all the departments, to all the employees working in the organization very clearly, that from today what we are going to do. Is it clear? For example, setting sales target, new product launch, business expansion to new territories. It means the objective can be of anything. You should notice that objective, how should be the objective? Objective should be very much SMART. SMART, S-M-A-R-T. S refers to specific. The objective should be specific. Specific means, yes, we want to increase our sale, but how much sale? The sale should be increased by 5 crores. It is specific. Okay, the employees will be able to decide that how much is the objective we need to achieve, 5 crores. Okay, then M refers to measurable. Measurable means you are able to measure that objective. It means it is in some quantity that you should measure. For example, the manager is asking his employees to increase the production, but how much production? By 10 units, by 20 units. It should be measurable in terms of digits, in numbers. Okay, then A refers to achievable. Achievable means it should be possible, it should be achievable by each and every person of the organization. It should not be out of your limit. It means you are saying to the, for example, you are asking to your employees that increase the production by 100 units in a minute. In a minute, it means it is not possible to achieve this target in a minute by a single employee. So its objective should be achievable, easily achievable by each and every person of the organization. Okay, then R refers to reliable. Reliable means on which you can trust, you can rely upon, you can depend upon. Yes, it is reliable for our company. The objective which we are setting is reliable. Okay, now T refers to time bound. It means you should specify the particular time in which the employers are going to achieve and the employees have to achieve that particular objective. For example, increase the production by 20 units in 1 month. It means it is measurable, it is time bound, it is achievable also, it is specific, and every feature of SMART objective is present there. Okay, so just like that, the first process of planning is setting up of objective. If you don't have any objective, there is no meaning of making plans. Now the second process is developing premises. It means, what does the premises means? Planning premises means making certain assumptions for the future. Okay, after the objective have been set up, have been specified, the manager have to decide, the manager have to forecast, the manager have to assume that what are the conditions and what are the assumptions that he should make. For example, forecasting is a technique used for gathering information to develop premises. An organization uses various forecasts such as policy changes. For example, you have set up the objective to increase your sale by 10 crores or by 5 crores. Okay, then to increase such 5 crores, what are the predictions you have to make? What are the threats or warning signals, and what are the conditions that you might face in the future while you are going to achieve your objective? Okay, so you should make some assumptions to achieve your objective. Okay, common forecasts are made to find out the demand of a product. For example, you have decided to launch a mobile phone, so you have just make the objective. Okay, so you have just decided your objective that you want to sell the mobile phone, but mobile phones brand, mobile phones tax policies, the mobile phones demands, and the image of your product in the eyes of the customer, these all assumptions are to be made before implementing the plans. And this is the most important process of the planning, because if you have made the wrong assumptions and predictions regarding the future, the whole process of planning will get over. Okay, there is no meaning of planning if the assumptions are wrong, because on the basis of assumptions you will continue your process, and if you make the wrong assumptions, then everything will go wrong. Now the third process is evaluating alternative courses of action. It means you have specified the objective, you have made the premises also, you have made some assumptions. Now you have to decide that what are the different courses of actions are available in front of me, with the help of which I can achieve my objective. For example, you want to increase your sale, okay, of the product, but how should I am going to increase my sale? As I told you that there is not only a one method to achieve your objective. There are different methods available. For example, increasing sale may be possible by giving discounts, by giving the scheme of buy one get one free, by reducing the price, or reducing the price much more than your competitors, or by any other means. By many schemes you can increase your sale. So the manager will make, what would a manager do? The third process is identifying alternative courses of action. Now he will identify, okay, he will identify what are the different options and alternatives available in front of me, with the help of which I can achieve my objective. For example, if I take the example of a student, they are the boards exams are coming. If so, the objective is to score good marks. They have made the assumption that these questions might be there in the question paper of the BST exam. But now achieving the goal, for achieving the goal, they will decide that what are the study materials is available in front of me. The NCERT, the study notes of different teachers, the practice papers, different material is available in front of you. Okay, you will make a list that I have such type of alternatives. So in that way, manager also identify different courses of action which will help them to achieve their objective. Let's see here, once objectives are set, assumptions are made, and alternative courses of action is determined, manager must identify all the alternatives for achieving the goal. Okay, now after making a list, you have decided that with what are the books, what are the study materials is available in front of me. You will evaluate alternative courses of action. You will evaluate the positive and negative characteristics or effect of all the alternatives on you. Okay, the next step is to evaluate the pros and cons. It means the merits and demerits of each and every alternative course of action. As we know that each and every option has some merits as well as some demerits also. Okay, might be the NCERT book is there, you want to adopt the NCERT book, but you are seeing that so much questions are available in the NCERT book. Okay, one merit and one demerit. The language is simple, but not so much questions are there. Second study material, so many questions are there, all the board question, last previous year questions are there, but the language is too much difficult to understand. Third book, the language is also very simple, but the question language is so much typical. It's a very high level study material, okay, for the board students. So every alternative actions have some pros and cons. The manager have to evaluate all the alternative courses of action very deeply so that he will be able to decide that which is the ideal alternative course, which is the ideal method to achieve my objective. Or here it is written, positive and negative aspects of each proposal is to be evaluated, keeping in view the objectives to be achieved. How you are going to evaluate such alternative courses of action? On the basis, keeping in mind the objectives that you have specified in the first point, in the first process. Okay, while you are verifying all the study materials, what is the objective in your mind? That with which study material I can score good marks. Okay, so after evaluating all the, we have note down all the positive and negative impact. Okay, after that, fifth point is selecting the best alternative. Now you have considered the ideal one, that which alternative has least negative points and more benefits than the alternative which is least negative points and best positive point, more positive points. You will select the best one. After evaluating all the study material, you have selected the NCERT book, okay, for the language. It means it is not necessary that the person will adopt only one best method. There might be combination of 2 or 3 methods also. Okay, be noted that, please note this, that plans of the alternative is selected and implemented. The ideal is the most feasible, profitable, with least negative consequences. It means this line is much more important. A combination of plans may be selected instead of one best course. It means it is not necessary that you have to select only one plan. A combination of 2 or 3 alternatives can be selected. That NCERT for the simple language, and number of questions, I have selected the study material or the notes of my any notes that are available with me. Okay, so the combination of 2. Now, seventh one is implementing the plan. That merely making the plans on the paper is not necessary. These are to be implemented. Okay, students. Now, with this point, I am resuming my video.